Hello everyone, welcome to the Talk to Talk Show. I'm your host, Mike. And lately I've really started to feel, am I getting old? You know you've hit a certain age when young people around you start asking questions you just can't answer. The other day I ran into my nephew on the street. He's only 13 and he asked me a question that absolutely broke me. He said, "Uncle, what kind of phone did you use when you were a kid?" I looked at him and said, "Phone? My phone as a kid was a payphone." He stood there with his eyes wide open, like I was talking to him about alien technology. He said, "Payphone? What's that?" So I had to explain. A payphone is this glass box you had to find on the street. You put a coin in it and then you could make a call. Got any coins? No coins. Sorry, no call for you. He listened, completely stunned. And then he asked an even funnier question. "So how did you guys send text messages?" I told him, "We didn't have text messages, kid. If you wanted to send a message, you had to walk to someone's house, knock on their door and tell them in person. If you had something to say, you better be ready for a long walk." Then he asked, but uncle, how did you share funny videos?" Funny videos? Back in my day, funny videos weren't on phones. They were at home when your dad ran around in his underwear chasing you with a broken flip-flop. You know, these kids today, they can't even begin to understand how we lived back then. But he wasn't done yet. He asked, "So how did you get online?" I answered, "Online? We didn't even have the word online. The only thing we got on was detention. And you knew how fast you had to run because the teacher was ready to throw chalk at you." At this point, my nephew was staring at me like I was an exhibit in a history museum. And then he asked one final question. "So how did you play games when you were a kid?" I smiled and said, "Oh, you're gonna love this. We had a very special game called Playing Outside. You know how it worked? It was completely free, and the rules were simple. You went outside, found some friends, ran around playing tag until someone broke a leg, and we knew the game was over." Finally, my nephew sighed, looked at me and said, "Uncle, life must have been really tough for you back then." I looked at him thinking, "Kid, we were living the dream back then. You're the ones who've got it rough now, can't even bother to say a word face to face."